Probably the dented can place that hasn't been open for, half a decade. I don't think.
We'll call the meeting to order. Anyone want to open us with prayer? Do that otherwise. All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering here this evening. We ask that you would give us time and give us wisdom. And we thank you for each one of these members here and each one of our participants here this evening as they bring information to us as we look to give direction to our town. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
We have an agenda. And a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second by Wayland, second by Brent. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to review and approval of meeting minutes from July 8th. Motion to approve.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Wayland, second. Art, any discussion? A lot in there.
There was.
All in favor of approval of meeting minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion also carries. Approval of claims. We have huge cash requirement of $53.32 for electricity to two landings. Motion to approve claims.
So moved. 96.
Motion by Brent, second by Wayland. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries as well. Move on to 7.0, reports to the committee. And
Well, good evening, and I'll first start by introducing you all to John Bosco. Is our new development services manager. So John he has filled my previous role as development at Greater Freeport Partnership, and he is 3 weeks. This is the third week on the job. So he will be working alongside me on economic development and will be attending these meetings frequently. So I just wanted to introduce him all to you. He attended the focus group session on economic development that was today at noon. So, yeah. Moving on to a report. The state has put out a notice of funding opportunity for site development. We are evaluating this. I think this is going to be a two-part grant, one that would provide first planning and technical assistance. The second one might be for construction. We're still evaluating this and we'll have more reporting back next month. If we were to file an application, it is due middle of October. Looking at business expansion, we've coordinated a meeting with the new owner of Lot 5 at Mill Race Crossing Friday morning. He is back in the state and in town. So we'll discuss a project update and future phases. Connected one local food-based manufacturer with possible locations for existing space. They were looking for actually more room for like a maintenance shop, mechanical work that they would be doing so that they can relocate and reutilize some space within their existing plant. So help them with a couple of options for that. We've held business retention visits with Pearl City Elevator and Fast Turn Supply. We have 2 more scheduled this month coming up with Modern Plating and Core FX. We continue to get those scheduled. We're always reaching out to more companies. In relationship to workforce development, you might have seen, and I can follow up and send Georgia a link to distribute. Highland Community College has partnered with Rock Valley College on a grant that would provide, it's a multi-year grant, I think over $5 million to help establish and deepen, enrich their manufacturing career pathways. So these would be classes around welding, CNC, machining. So more to come, but there's been a lot of press and news stories that have been out about that recently. We're working with the school districts and Career Tech and Highland on Manufacturing Day. It's hard to believe we're in August here. We're going to have school start in a couple weeks. Manufacturing Day planning, which is going to be held August 17th. Again, that was Stephenson County area high schools, their vocational ed students coordinated a couple of tours at different plants around Stephenson County, and then they all ended the day with basically a career fair at Highland Community College where they have a number of manufacturers that set up booths. So it's a good opportunity for exposure for these students to understand what careers and jobs are available here locally. And we are continuing to ask Stephenson County employers, not just manufacturers, to attend a job and career fair that will be held November 6th. This is a coordinated effort, the first of this type, between Highland Community College and Freeport High School to just kind of have a one-stop shop, being ask employers to come to this one larger fair, and that they're going to have Freeport, obviously, and Highland Community College students, as well as they'll open that up to other area Stephenson County High School students to come through. And again, same idea, just not necessarily focused in manufacturing. The idea that students would have the opportunity to learn of different careers that are available here and the jobs that are available. Also recently, there's been some news stories about the enterprise zone and its benefit on residential home development. So there was a news story that came out, I think, yesterday, and I have a coordinated interview for another one on Wednesday. There's 2 new townhomes that have been built in the Rye Ridge area. This is Cherokee Hills in Freeport. They have some parcels that are in the enterprise zone. There's also other areas within Freeport and outside of Freeport within the county that are in the enterprise zone. In terms of residential development, this is beneficial in two main capacities. It helps the builder defer the cost or lower the cost of construction because they don't have to pay sales tax on building materials. And then it helps the future homeowner that they get a period of property tax abatement on the improvement to that parcel for a period of 3 years. So it can really add up to some significant savings, especially if it is a new construction. But it can help even if you're going to put an addition on or do renovation, expand your home with an addition on. So we're always helped we understand that housing is a critical need here, and how can we kind of help encourage the market to get more people interested in building, or other residential developers to be interested to build here. Some other opportunities that we've distributed to Stephenson County communities directly to our mailing list of mayors and village presidents, but I will also kind of mention it to this group. Both of these come via the channel of Blackhawk Hills Regional Council. There is the Northwest Illinois Streets/Sidewalks Walkability Assessment Program. There's a short application that they ask communities to complete, it's due August 19th. And there's no match requirement, no money. This is an technical assistance opportunity. The program's purpose is to identify opportunities to improve active transportation accessibility within a selected municipality. So a lot of sidewalks, bike lanes, etc. So again, August 19th is the deadline, and I will follow up and send links out to Georgia, but there is just a link off of their website that goes to the application portal. The second is the Safety Action Plan for Northwest Illinois, and this encompasses not just Stephenson County, but all of Blackhawk Hills service area. Same idea, but maybe extrapolated to a larger road network. Blackhawk Hills is working to improve rural road safety for drivers and pedestrians. Blackhawk Hills is working with Kaskaskia Engineering, who's hosting the project website. And what they're asking for, this can be elected officials as well as just residents, members of the general public, to go on the website and pinpoint areas on an interactive map that are unsafe. I think we all encounter them kind of as you are driving about throughout the county, where sight lines are troubled, or the turn is sharp, or you see a lot of pedestrians here, and there maybe isn't a sidewalk. So I'll follow up and send that link along as well. But it's a pretty interactive, simple website that you can just pin that location.
What website? What website is the name?
Sure. So you'll find a link off of Blackhawk Hills Regional Council, their website, and I can follow up and send you a link directly.
Okay.
Last week, R1 held a follow-up meeting on broadband planning. I'm going to distribute this, if you don't mind. Can I pass this along this direction? These were the handouts from that meeting. Again, this is the second of what I envision to be multiple meetings from coordinated by Region 1 Planning Council. But the idea is that the state of Illinois has pushed out a lot of funding for broadband infrastructure. And so they're trying to, R1, assess the needs that are here within Stephenson County. This round of what they call it BEAD funding, this program, is directed towards internet service providers to apply. So the idea being that R1 wanted to ask for communities' inputs of what they would like to see these ISP or internet service providers apply, what requirements they should be meeting to receive a grant. So if you look on the second page, there were some things that were bulleted points and were like regarding speed, affordability, and support. And the idea being that they wanted any internet service provider who wanted a letter of support to, at minimum, meet these requirements. So some of the other things that were discussed were no data cap. There was, in the meeting, representation from a number of employers from the county and in some area school districts, which was actually really informative because it touches their work and their students' work quite a bit. And if I can direct your attention to the back page, which is a really odd map, but this is, the red line indicates the boundary of Stephenson County. And specifically, they're looking for internet service providers to provide broadband infrastructure to areas that are in these odd-shaped hexagons, if you will. So as you can see right now, in this round of BEAD funding, almost the whole Route 26 corridor is really not eligible, and most of Freeport. The idea being that they believe that that area is being significantly served currently. So we're talking about a lot of rural areas, small municipalities in Stephenson County. So again, this process is not over. The R1 is still looking for input. Again, I can connect you if there's any comments or feedback that you have. I'm happy to collect those and pass those along to R1. It's kind of the beginning of the beginning, but there will be more meetings. And what I suspect is that there will be future rounds of funding that will be targeted necessarily to different areas. But I'm happy to answer any direct questions around this as much as well as I'm able to. But I wanted to distribute this because I know it probably would affect many of your constituencies.
Can you just explain, I'm having a problem following this, maybe it's just me, I can't tell which areas.
Sure. So anything that basically has a blue like polygon around, yes, is considered an area that is not well served.
Yeah, inside the blue ones.
Inside the blue ones, yeah, and then it's kind of, it has a hatch.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
What are those little yellow?
The
Are
little
those
yellow dots are considered to be the PAU locations, and PAU stands for Project Area Units. Are comprised of every underserved location in Freeport in accordance with the FCC maps.
What is the criteria to be considered underserved?
That's a great question. And I don't believe I think it's a certain number of households within that area do not have internet service. Check.
Because it's not available, because it's affordable, some other.
I don't think
It's not provided.
it doesn't distinguish.
Brian, my guess would be it's that, and it's probably the actual ability to access a high-speed internet service. Like most of the wireless that's available, like JCIM, some of the other services like that, you only get like up to 25 meg. So it's not nearly as fast as like, I'm on like 1,000 meg broadband with Comcast. You can't get that off the county.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I mean, that's what the comms committee is. That's one of the other things we're looking at as a subcommittee too. I mean, that Jordan sent me this the other day. I didn't make that meeting, which I just had a rough week at work last week. anyway, it's a good starting point. It's a great baseline to start with as far as where we're at today and where we need to go. I think that's great that the state's got some funding set aside that some of the providers can access and help offset the cost of development. So hopefully someone will take advantage of that. You know, Andrea, if anybody's stepped up yet? Or?
R1 indicated that there were 2 internet service providers that had inquired to reach out to them that were interested in serving Stephenson County. They did not disclose the names of those companies. So,
Because I would mind helping to facilitate that with some of the ISPs as far as that goes.
I think that there will be future meetings. I'll make sure that you're aware of those
Thank you.
when I know of them. Yeah, as far as I know, they've not been scheduled yet.
Right.
So.
You're kind of an expert with that, aren't you?
Well, I've done a lot in the comms arena, over time. It makes sense. Yeah, I like it. The different
Yeah.
options that there are.
Got notified from Verizon in our area. That they want to meet with some of us and use some of that to get the high fiber and be able to access that and get to the outlet.
Yeah, you can get fiber everywhere. That's the end game. You're not going to get faster. More
So, and very quickly, last couple items in marketing the region. Last Friday night, we had great attendance at Boogie and the Yo-Yos, our last music on Chicago. There was about 1,000 people at the Arts Plaza. Next Saturday night will be cruise night from 4 to 8 p.m. here downtown. And then looking ahead, and I'll distribute this, the partnership alongside Illinois Main Street is co-hosting an upstairs downtown workshop, which will be October 1st from 10 to 5 p.m. And what this is really is a workshop about downtown building revitalization and how to utilize the upper floors for, hopefully mainly residential units. This isn't just for downtown Freeport. This would be for any small municipality. We'll be looking and reaching out to building owners, elected officials, realtors, developers, et cetera, to attend this meeting. So just want to get that on everyone's radar. But that's all I have this evening. Is there any other questions I can help answer?
Going back to the discussion around, I can't remember exactly, like tech stuff that's going on an island.
Yes.
With welding and, some of these, I think that's a beautiful thing. Has there been any discussion around like robotics and automation, things of that nature, in terms of technology, developing kids to understand technology, get into tech fields, things like that, programming?
I think that is part of the curriculum that they're hoping to build out with this. I know that that's definitely on Scott Anderson's radar, and really trying to get kids in high school and career tech understanding that going into manufacturing is going to have a heavy component into robotics and automation. So, it's not just welding and CNC machining. That's still going to be a component, but there is different sort of technical skills in terms of understanding more sophisticated programming. So
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Andrea, what is this exactly upstairs downtown workshop? It looks like it's revitalizing the upper floors of old buildings
That's
or,
exactly what it's all about.
right? Does it matter if it's residential, commercial? Is there a target? I mean,
It doesn't necessarily matter. I think it's the end goal is utilizing the entire building. So thinking about all the floors. What I would encourage in when you look at the real estate landscape that we currently have, we have an abundance of office vacancies. And so if someone were to utilize, let's say I own a building in downtown and I have a commercial space in the ground floor, which is typically always what you want.
Right.
I think I would look at that upper floors and say, well, this probably makes more sense to be a residence as opposed to more office space.
Right.
So I think the conversation will really lean a little bit more towards how would you take and adapt, maybe if they were former office suites, how would you adapt that into a living quarter? And what would that look like?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else? Very much, Andy.
Thank you.
We'll move on to zone.
$2,390 was deposited in July. Total to date to the general fund is $68,748.66. Nicole and I met with Stephen Reeder from Liberty Power. He informed us he will be applying for a revision to their current special use. If you remember, this was in October of 2022, 50 megawatts of solar, 40 megawatts of battery energy storage, and 174 megawatts of wind, a substation, and this would be in Kent and Erin townships. They're looking to add additional 8 turbines. The new turbines are all US built, so that's positive, and they're more efficient and the same amount of megawatts. Several landowners have approached them asking if they could actually have some solar or wind on their properties as well. So with the additional 8 turbines, when they come through, those landowners would be able to reap the benefits of having that on their parcel as well. In that meeting, they did state that the company is also interested in additional support for the county, some sort of monetary yearly gift as well. Nicole and I can continue to review our code, still finding things that we need to work on. We have had 2 solar companies that have submitted plans for review. I will be receiving a check this week for the $37,580. That will go into the general fund. That's for the permit and the fence fee. Then hopefully we'll get 2 more checks approximately in that same size for Lily Creek Solar and McConnell Solar. 1 more solar company may be submitted plans soon to start their project. And both Nicole and I followed up on several complaints over the month with outstanding violations. There is one outstanding violation. That's a mobile home that was moved to a site that's not permitted. So that'll be moved. Any questions?
The 37.5, did you say $37,500?
Yes.
And that'll be from who?
That is from, I cannot remember who the solar company is at the top of my head right now, since we're going through 3 of them. A solar facility. I think this is the one, this is the Lily Creek Road one.
It's not the person reapplying.
No.
And they applied last year?
They applied in 2022.
Okay.
It was through October of 2022. I had sent out 160 certified letters.
Mhm.
I had no objectors, which is amazing. Mr. Groves warned me that I would have a courtroom full of all objectors and it's a witch hunt and all of this. And he was just amazed that I didn't have any objectors. I said the company did their due diligence, which they did. They boots on the ground, knocked on doors, people came in to talk to me. I explained what was going on as well.
Mhm.
And I think we had 2 people that actually came that just wanted questions answered. So they just want an additional 8 turbines.
What happened in October of 22? Why are they reapplying?
Oh, since they're adding additional, their resolution, their permit states up to 29 wind towers.
Okay.
So they can only have 29. So they'll be coming back in for an additional 8.
They've built those 29? Those
Not
are
yet, no.
Existing?
No.
Are any of them existing?
No.
Okay.
No, they're still on the queue. There's an issue right now with the capacity of the lines,
Uh-huh.
but that is getting straightened out. They've been discussing with, I think they're on the PJM one and not me, so that they're getting close. So this one, they're looking possibly late 2025, early 2026 as a potential build.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Jeff. Moving on, I do not have a report from Soil and Water Conservation District that was not available when they had their meeting. Recreation and Trails.
Meeting.
I do not have any information from Black Hawk Hills. I don't have any specific chairman's report. I'm just going to throw back out there, I kind of talked about earlier. As a county and as an organization that has property, I would still like to see us start to look at ways to get out of this building and own our own property rather than continue here. And I think it's, it's only been 1 year, but we need to be doing that. And I know there's a possibility of some potential properties being available that probably would be a fit. I just want to make sure I'm following the right steps to do that. And it's something I've thrown out there for you guys all to have some conversation, and we'll try to push that forward. Report from the strategic planning transportation group.
I did not get a report. I
Okay.
was at the meeting. I can let you know they have another meeting coming up, I believe, Thursday. They are working on having a speaker from Pretzel City Transit come and speak to the group. Let them know what their services are that are available.
Doesn't that whole Northwest Illinois transportation group get together as a meeting, as a group? I mean, Joe Davis County, Carroll County, Pretzel City. I think they all get together. I don't know why. Yeah, I've been to at least one where they were all there, so I wouldn't know why that would be something to.
Pretzel City Transit is funded through a 5311 grant through the state of Illinois, which I assume
The others are as well.
others are too. And I don't know how often they reapply, if that's annually or not. Be nice to possibly see if they can expand that. And I don't know how the mechanics of it would be.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Unless there's any other questions, new business 8.0, review and approval of 25 budgets. Back to Beth, and thank you for having all that laid out, and I actually do have it here.
And I forgot to bring it, and I have it on my phone.
Okay.
Do you want me
Does everybody else, we don't have hard copies, so
to do not? I'm sorry, my.
Are you
I
on?
don't think I have.
You have a hard copy there
Hmm.
that I brought
The
you.
thing, this is what is this the thing from,
Yeah.
that I requested from Adrian? Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry. For the regular salaries department head, we're uncertain at this time. I added a placeholder for, my wages in there. My contract expires in July next year, so I have to talk with Chairman Helms on how we're going to go about doing my salary. If we just do the COLA for half the year, how we're gonna figure that. So it's just a placeholder in there right now. That was just increased by the COLA. The salary for the assistant director, hers went up because of the COLA. Code hearing unit, I'm leaving $3,000 in there. I'm not increasing that at all. Hopefully we'll have someone in that position soon. I'm
It's
crossing my
9
fingers.
It's 9:14, guys.
9:14, thank you.
Sorry. Do you want me to wait? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now there's 3,000 in there, so next year we're gonna put 3,000 in there. Like I said, I'm hoping we have someone hired by then. We haven't had any bites on that position. Eric Borneman with Hinshaw over in Rockford did send out some emails to some colleagues of his. Okay, good. Perfect. The zoning board of appeals per diems, I'm leaving at 2,000. That seems to fluctuate. I mean, this year we've only used approximately $449.
That's how many meetings you have.
Exactly. In 2023, we were over by 500. 2022, we were over by 900. So we're safe at 2,000. Office equipment under 500 is going to stay at the 500. The mileage, we're going to drop down from, it was 2,000. We're going to drop it down to about 1,600. Just kind of on our previous use. I've kind of balanced it out where we don't need 2,000.
Go ahead.
Rent. I hate that it's called rent because typically it really isn't rent, it's utilities, maintenance to the building, internet, phone service, things like that. I'm gonna keep it $4,000. If it goes over the 4,000, I'll pay it out of trust fund. That's what's been done typically in the past. And then meetings and seminars, we're anticipating more meetings again next year, so I don't know why it's showing I haven't spent any yet, but I have. Leave that at 1,000, so with the placeholder of my wages, it'll be 122,989. 2024 budget was 118,101. So it went up because of the COLA. That was it. I didn't raise any other line item.
Any questions?
I have none.
I don't know.
How does
This is just
the,
fine. Yeah.
how does the salaries part work in your contract? Uncertain at this time, contract expires mid-year, I get that, but is it
It's
a COLA kind of
It's a
thing?
COLA,
like the
yeah.
Other stuff?
right.
Okay.
It's COLA, and then since my since my contract expires mid-year in July, I have to talk with the current county board chairman. Sorry. What were you gonna say?
Me.
Yeah, and we go from there. And then, of course, it would be presented to this committee again.
So that's an estimate, is that?
Yes, that's the
percentage of
COLA. Yep, that's the COLA right now,
Which will be through July.
right?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
I said that's what half of the year will be with her contract.
Right. Well, I did the full year at the COLA.
Right.
So that number represents a full year,
Yes,
correct?
Of the current salary with only the COLA.
With the COLA adjustment, correct? Okay. Thank you.
I was gonna say, given the questions that you still have, very legitimate, I think the thing to do is to table the budget until next month. So I still move.
Second.
Any discussion?
No issues with that.
All in favor of tabling till next month, please see, I can see none. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, moving on. Recreation and conservation.
that I do not have. Mr. Remmers, I believe, is here. Is he here to talk? Or
He
anything?
was more here for the meeting before this meeting,
Okay.
but he is more than welcome to talk about.
We need to discuss equipment that will be needed for next year as well. So Mr. Remmers and I need to get together, discuss budget wise. But he would like, if he would like to,
What would you like me to talk about?
Why don't we just
Specifically.
talk about it and bring it back next week?
Okay.
There's no real hurry.
Okay.
It's fine.
we'll do that. Thanks, Wally.
And then, what do I want to call it? The budget line item 918 is economic development.
And there's numbers in that on Teams that you can see. Those are preliminary. I didn't meet with you ahead of time. We were still waiting on Blackhawk Hills. At that point, we do have a number from them, but we haven't taken a look at everything in depth to make sure that.
So our plan tonight is discussion and possible approval. So we only have discussion on this one. If there's nothing else, go on from there. Thank you for the efforts that have been made so far. Appreciate that. I don't have any other old business on public comment. See any? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Aye.
Thanks, Joe. Good meeting.
You didn't hear, I know.
It was, I'm really late.